Hello and welcome to Gus McDowell Strategy and Tactics, and thank you to our subscribers. I'm Nick McDowell. Today we're playing Sonorless Combat Systems Fleet Command, an operational level naval combat simulator from 1998. Please remember to like the video and subscribe for more great strategy and tactics content. And if you want to buy me a coffee, the links to PayPal and Patreon are in the description. In this campaign, the Peacemakers, we look at a series of peacekeeping operations undertaken by America and its allies in the alternate 1990s world of Fleet Command. In this scenario, War on Drugs, a small US task group is positioned to stem the flow of drugs from a Colombian cartel. The task group includes 2 guided missile frigates, a landing helicopter docked with Harrier aircraft, and Super Cobra helicopters. The task group also has support from EC-3 Orion aircraft operating from Panama. The US task group is positioned off the Colombian coast. Key ports include Cartagena, Barranquilla, and Santa Marta. Their mission is likely to involve interdiction of civilian maritime assets, such as cargo ships, being used by the cartel. The likely task for the task group is to conduct Visit, Board, Search and Seize or VBSS operations in international waters. As the name suggests, the task force will visit and board suspect ships, search them for contraband, and seize vessels, crew, and cargo if contraband is found. This is a common constabulary task for modern navies to this day. However, the task group has just received word that the cartel has openly attacked military assets and killed military personnel, and use of force has now been authorized at the highest levels. As I explained in the Pacific Pirates episode, like most combat simulators, Fleet Command is heavily oriented towards conventional warfighting. This means it can struggle to simulate the complexities and nuance of military operations other than war. In this case, our orders are to interdict the flow of illegal drugs. This usually requires a law enforcement response, not a military response. In other words, arresting suspected criminals and not just killing them. The US declared a war on drugs in the early 1970s. The term war was mostly a rhetorical device and did not involve use of military force. Mostly. One notable exception was Operation Just Cause in Panama to replace the Noriega regime. After some years as a key US ally, General Manuel Noriega was indicted by the United States for racketeering and drug trafficking in the context of increasing tensions between the US and Panama. After US service personnel were killed and injured, the US invaded Panama, destroying aircraft and naval ships and strategic installations before eventually arresting Noriega. Colombian drug lords have allied with a faction within the Colombian Navy. Yesterday, a Coast Guard cutter was sunk by an unknown assailant while investigating a cargo ship believed to be carrying a shipment of drugs to the US mainland. Your Surface Action Group has been dispatched with all haste to investigate and, if possible, destroy whomever is responsible for the loss of our Coast Guard ship. Your ships are the only ones close enough to engage. A larger carrier battle group is being assembled. Be extremely careful to identify all potential tracks before engaging. We don't want to anchor any other nations which may be operating within their own coastal waters. Okay, so the mission just got more complex and now includes possible destruction of cartel vessels.
Tactical update message received.
This is the coast of Colombia to the east, with Panama to the west. This is a US military airbase in Colón in Panama. It is home to a squadron of EP-3 Orion reconnaissance and electronic warfare aircraft. An EP-3 Orion is airborne, patrolling international waters northwest of Colombia. Operated by the United States, the EP-3 Orion electronic reconnaissance aircraft has a maximum speed of 411 knots, maximum altitude of a little over 23,000 feet, and a range of 4,000 nautical miles. Sensors modelled in the game include aircraft visual, surface search radar, aircraft ESM long range, fire control radar jamming, and radar jamming. In addition to the aircraft's reconnaissance capability, the Orion's radar jamming capabilities will be important to this mission. We've located a radar emitting from the coast of Colombia, probably an airport near Cartagena. This is the Rodney M. Davis FFG-60. Operated by the United States as an Oliver Hazard Perry class guided missile frigate, and by Australia as the Adelaide class, she has a length of 409 feet, beam of 48 foot, and maximum speed of 29 knots. Sensors modelled in the game include high-frequency active sonar, active intercept, surface ESM, visual, low-frequency passive sonar, ship air radar medium range, ship surface radar medium range, and fire control radar. Weapons include 36 SM-1 medium-range surface-to-air missiles, 4 Harpoon, 8 Mark 46 torpedoes, 4 Mark 50 torpedoes, guns, and cannon. The Oliver Hazard Perry class is a good all-rounder with surface-air warfare, anti-surface warfare, and anti-submarine warfare capabilities. The task group also includes the Colombian FFG-37, also an Oliver Hazard Perry class guided missile frigate. She has similar sensors and weapon loadout as the Rodney M. Davis. In the background you can see the capital ship of the task group. This is the Bonhomme Richard, a landing helicopter dock, or LHD. Operated by the United States as a Wasp-class LHD, she has a length of 779 feet, beam of 231 feet, and maximum speed of 22 knots. Her sensors include surface ESM, visual, ship air radar medium range, ship surface radar medium range, fire control radar, and high-frequency passive sonar. Weapons include 16 ESSM surface-to-air missiles, 21 rolling airframe missile surface-to-air missiles, and cannon. However, the primary capability of this LHD is the embarked air group of Harrier aircraft, Cobra attack helicopters, and Seahawk helicopters. Let's examine the intelligence. Intelligence agents that penetrated the cartel report that there is a corrupt faction within the Colombian Navy that is actually using naval vessels to smuggle drugs to Caribbean ports. These ports are only transshipment points. The ultimate destination for the drugs is the US mainland. There are 2 Colombian bases on the Atlantic coast, Cartagena and Barranquilla. It is not known whether the drugs are leaving one or both of these bases. Well, the use of naval vessels by the cartel significantly complicates this scenario as it increases the capability of the adversary force. Let's examine the tactical update message. Tactical update message received. The airport located at latitude 1115 north, longitude 7411 west has been identified as a base of operations for the cartel. Eliminate the airport by any means possible. Do not send Harriers over the Colombian mainland. Let's find and mark that airport. Let's zoom in. There it is. Mark. That is near Santa Marta. On with the mission. We currently don't know what is out there in our battle space. Immediately the Rodney M. Davis visually identifies a neutral cargo ship. We have to be very careful not to target neutral ships or aircraft.
Will do. Out.
The Orion is tasked to move east to conduct reconnaissance. It is using surface search radar. The Rodney M. Davis prepares to launch an SH-60 Romeo Seahawk.
Green deck, get those aircraft airborne. Roger out.
It puts another on alert 15.
Kick those aircraft off the deck. Affirmative.
Cromellin does same.
Green deck. Launch aircraft. Roger.
Bonhomme Richard orders 2 AV-8B Harrier II aircraft to launch. The LHD carries 20 Harriers, currently in anti-surface warfare profiles.
Affirmative.
Additional aircraft pairs are put to Alert 5, Alert 15, and Alert 30.
Get those aircraft airborne. Roger.
Bonhomme Richard also prepares to launch 4 AH-1W Super Cobra helicopters. These need to pre-position to conduct any land strikes. Here you see flight operations on the deck of the Bonhomme Richard. The Harriers are moving into position, and the lifts are bringing up additional Super Cobras. At this stage, I'm fighting the reconnaissance battle. The Orion will do its piece, as will the Harriers, providing aerial reconnaissance. I want to know what is out there, but I'm not ready to reveal the presence, disposition, or strength of my surface forces. I want to stay at MCON Black and let the Harriers do the scouting.
priority intelligence message received.
Let's review the high priority intelligence message. Intelligence reports indicate that the cartel's cargo ships are being escorted by an unknown number of Colombian Navy frigates. There are also indications that a submarine was involved in the sinking of our Coast Guard cutter. This really complicates the scenario. What started out as a simple interdiction mission could now become a surface engagement against a force of equivalent strength, or even anti-submarine warfare. This really is a war on drugs. The Harriers take off from the Bonhomme Richard. Followed by the Super Cobras moving to a position off the coast. The Orion has detected an air contact heading northwest.
Identify track 2918. Roger, out.
The Harriers are tasked to conduct visual identification.
Roger. Can do. Roger, out. VID track 2918. Affirmative.
The Orion also moves to intercept. Meanwhile, the Harriers have detected a spike from the Colombian coast, on a bearing similar to the cartel airbase.
Affirmative, out. Classified track 2916. Can do, out. Can do.
They activate aircraft radar. Another ship pops up on radar. The Harriers are retasked to visually identify ships off the coast. We need to know what is out there. The Super Cobras move to a position west of the suspected cartel airbase. Bonhomme Richard gives the order to launch another 2 pairs of Harriers and increase readiness of the others. We really need eyes in the sky.
Launch aircraft immediately. Wilco. Kick that aircraft off the deck. Affirmative.
The remaining Super Cobras also prepare to launch.
Track 2904. Will do, out.
The first ship is identified hostile and the Harriers break off. It is a cargo ship operated by the cartel, carrying their product to the Caribbean for transshipment to the US.
Affirmative.
As the Harriers head west to gather more information on the battle space, they detect an aircraft taking off from the suspected cartel airbase.
Tactical update message received.
Okay, let's read the message. The Colombian sub has been positively identified as the Tamoillo SSK-31. Use extreme caution when approaching. This sub is to be sunk by your task force immediately. Its present location is unknown, but believed to be within 10 nautical miles of latitude 1133 north, longitude 7420 west. The submarine is a clear and present danger to the Bonhomme Richard and other ships in the task force. It has already sunk a Coast Guard cutter. An LHD would be a major victory for the cartel. Let's mark that position on the map. We have some Seahawk helicopters preparing to launch. There it is, just starboard of the head mark for the LHD.
Identify track 2916. Identify track 2905. Can do. Roger, ID as neutral air.
The two Harriers are tasked to positively identify surface contacts.
Roger. Emergency emitter backtrack 990 VID is hostile surface. Identify track 2920. Roger out.
Meanwhile, the Orion has identified the air contact as neutral air and changes course southeast. The Harriers identify one of the surface contacts as neutral and the other as hostile. At that range, the hostile ship is identified from the nature of its radar transmissions. It is the Green Hulk FFG-46. Operated by the United Kingdom and Brazil as the Broadsword class, she has a length of 432 feet, beam of 44 feet, and max speed of 30 knots. Sensors modelled in the game include medium frequency active sonar, active intercept, surface ESM, visual, ship air radar, medium range, ship surface radar, medium range, low frequency passive sonar, and fire control radar. Weapons include ESSM surface-to-air missiles, cannon, Exocet, and Stingray torpedo. The surface-to-air missiles are a threat to the Harriers, and the Exocet missiles are potent ship killers. For the scenario, this frigate is being operated by the Colombian Navy.
Roger out.
One Harrier moves to identify the air contact. The other heads west. Rodney M. Davis has launched its SH-60 Romeo Seahawk. This is an anti-submarine warfare platform, and it will hunt the Tamoio SSK-31 submarine.
Track 2920 is hostile air.
Both Seahawk helicopters move to the last known location of the submarine.
Affirmative out. Affirmative out.
The air contact is hostile air. A transponder, secretly placed in the aircraft by a certain agency, identifies it as a cartel-operated aircraft. It could be carrying drugs, or money, or people.
Taking track 2920. Can do out.
Our orders are to destroy cartel aircraft. But the mission is covert. We don't want to launch missiles, give ourselves away to the Colombian Navy just yet, or leave a radar tape record of a missile launch. The Harrier selects guns, but misses on the first pass.
Tactical update message received.
Let's review the tactical update message. The cartel boss has been alerted of our effort to eliminate his fleet. He is attempting an escape from the airport, located at 1100 North, 7414 West. Do not allow his plane to escape. Okay, so this is an assassination mission. The US conducted a similar mission against Admiral Yamamoto in World War II. The Harrier needs to move fast and splash the aircraft before the Harrier strays within surface-to-air missile range of the Colombian frigate.
Engage track 2920. Roger.
The slow-moving target presents a unique gunnery challenge. The Harrier is out of ammunition, Winchester guns, and disengages.
Roger. Can do. Roger out.
The wingman moves in.
Kill track 2920. Can do out. Will do. Roger out. ID track 2921. Affirmative.
The first Harrier conducts a visual identification on another aircraft from the suspected cartel airstrip. The Orion moves closer to the battle space.
Will do. Roger, out. Can do. Roger, out. Out.
Two more Harriers have launched from Bonhomme Richard and are dispatched to visually identify the two ships to their west.
ID track 2906, roger. ID track 2902, can do. Roger.
They activate aircraft radar.
Affirmative. Track 2921, VID is hostile air. Will do, out. Will do.
The second aircraft is visually identified hostile.
Roger. Roger, out. Affirmative.
The wingman moves in,
Kill track 2920. Affirmative, out.
and zooms up.
Kill track 2920.
At last, a burst of gunfire and the aircraft is destroyed, taking its cargo with it. The Harrier immediately dives for the deck. The radar tapes will later show only one aircraft that suddenly lost altitude and plummeted to the sea.
Will do, roger, out. Will do.
The wingman still has half his gun ammunition and moves to intercept the second aircraft. The first Harrier moves closer to the coast to identify the radar station. The Harrier must not cross the coastline. The wingman takes a rear aspect position behind the Beechcraft turboprop.
Kill track 2921, can do, out.
The pilot is blissfully unaware of the threat. In the back seat, the cartel boss is drinking champagne with his associates. Bullets zip past the cockpit.
Destroyed. Track 2921.
30mm cannon shells rip through the fuselage, killing all inside and setting light to the fuel tanks. As the Harrier dives back under 2,000 feet, the plane spins out of control. The second cartel airstrip has been identified near Tianaga, east of Barranquilla.
Classify track 2923. Will do.
More ships located west of Cartagena, and more ships located west of the Davis.
Emergency racket bearer track 2906. Identified as hostile surface.
Enemy radar spikes give away the contact as enemy surface. It is the Granville FFG-33, a guided missile frigate. Operated by Argentina as the Drummond class, and for this scenario by the Colombian Navy, she has a length of 243 feet, beam of 30 feet, and maximum speed of 23 knots. Sensors modelled in the game include high-frequency active sonar, active intercept, surface ESM, visual, ship air radar medium range, ship surface radar medium range, and fire control radar. Weapons include guns, cannon, Exocet, and A244 torpedo. This ship has a powerful anti-surface warfare capability, but has weak surface-to-air warfare defences. This suggests an attack method.
Track 2923, identified as hostile air. Will do, Roger, out.
The Harrier wingman positively identifies the third Beechcraft as hostile air, again by the secret transponder. His orders are clear.
Roger, out.
The second pair of Harriers moves northwest. The Harrier passes underneath the target.
It's toast, taking track 2923, Roger.
Then climbs and turns for a rear aspect shot.
Kill track 2923.
Another burst of gunfire, the Harrier dives away, and the third cartel aircraft plummets to the sea. This is the cartel airstrip near Ciénaga.
Affirmative. Roger.
Each Harrier takes up station west of a cartel airstrip.
ID track 29. Classified track 2913. Affirmative, out.
The second pair of Harriers move to identify the ships to the northwest. Meanwhile, the Super Cobras move to their respective assigned battle positions off the Colombian coast.
Can do, Roger, out.
They are flying at under 1,000 feet to avoid radar detection.
Affirmative.
The Harriers now soften up the first cartel airstrip with a single AGM-65 Maverick air-to-surface missile.
I got him. Engage track 2907. Will do, out. Missing away, track 2907. 7. Can do, Roger, out.
In this episode, US forces conducted reconnaissance, identified hostile surface vessels, covertly shot down 3 cartel aircraft, and positioned for land strikes against the cartel airstrips. In the next episode, US forces will need to deal with the cargo ships and their protective escort of guided missile frigates. They must locate and destroy the cartel submarine, the Tamoio SSK-31, and they must finish by conducting land strikes against 2 cartel airstrips. These actions will avenge the sunken Coast Guard cutter and her dead crew, cripple the drug cartel, and make further progress in the war on drugs. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe and donate, and stay tuned for the next episode.